Where the fuck is McClay?
I know, dude. I'm gonna go in there fucking ripped as fuck. I'm gonna be on another
Level
level,
morning.
man. I'm gonna take like 4 grams of RSO and smoke a couple blunts and I'll be fucking good, man.
Just say your name and
In the
How I do?
Bogcast episode 46.
Bogcast episode 46, Maggie Keane.
And you can just...
That's a first.
Ready, action.
Awesome. This is the Bogcast episode 46. We are brought to you by Bang Salon. Come get all your hair needs, including cuts, natural colors, vivid colors, extensions, shampoo and styling, all under one roof at Bang Salon. Find and message Bang Salon on Instagram at Bang Salon, at BANGDSALON. Use promo code
Bogcast.
for 20% off your first visit. So come on down and get banged by Jordan. But if you really try to bang her, I'll fucking kill you. Cool.
Also, check us out on Spotify, Google Play, Google Music, iTunes, all your favorite podcatchers, and like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let us know how we're doing.
Hell yeah. So I'm really, really excited to have the guest that we have today. If you've lived in Phoenix most of your life, and you've probably seen her work somewhere at some point, she's been a billboard painter and illustrator for the Phoenix Zoo. In the 90s, she painted Phoenix City buses with most notably Phoenix Suns logos and things. She did a lot of theater sets and murals in people's houses. But most notably recently, if you haven't seen the David Bowie or the Prince mural in downtown Phoenix, go check it out, because it's some badass fucking art that I think is becoming an iconic thing to see here in Phoenix. As a matter of fact,
It's not becoming. It definitely is iconic.
yeah, I was just telling her, my friend from Amsterdam came in, and the first thing he did was go to the Prince mural to check it out. So welcome. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Like, we're all really excited for you to be
Cool.
here. So
Yeah, Maggie
Thank-
Keane.
Thanks for having me.
Maggie
I'm
Keane.
excited.
yeah. So I don't even know where to start. So like, how long did it take you to like, what inspired you even to do the Prince mural?
I was a big Prince fan, and I've done, when I am inspired by a musician like that, I want to give back what I do. So I do portraits of him and things like that. So, when I painted billboards, I was dying for some record company to buy a billboard so I
Yeah.
could paint somebody that I liked, like David Bowie or Prince, but, it never happened. So the first thing I wanted to do was paint a giant rock star somewhere. And when they started dying, it was
Yes.
really, 2016 was a horrible year. It was one right after another. So I had this wall ready to go, and I was wondering what I was going to put on it for a long time. And then as soon as David Bowie passed away, I said, that's what I'm doing. He's got to be there on that wall. And then Prince was always in the works. It was getting planned and, sketched out and looking for walls and things like that. It took about 3 years. And that wall had a mural on it already, so I wasn't noticing it. And then one day I noticed it. It was painted purple, and there was no more mural.
Oh wow.
So
It was like a sign from
So you actually had to go look for a purple building that was already purple.
Well,
I
it
was
just
looking for a good spot, and
Okay.
it just happened to have gotten painted
That's
purple.
How amazing is
That's
that?
badass.
That's like
Yeah.
telling you that is the
That's what I'm
spot.
saying,
Yeah, and the girl that does my hair, her salon is right across the street from that. And we would talk about, God, where am I going to put Prince? Where am I going to put Prince, And then I looked across the street there, and I went, look at that wall. It's purple now. So
That's awesome. What salon was that,
I
by the way?
jumped on it. I'm gonna blank on it. Watch.
Oh, because my girlfriend used to actually work at a salon right there, so I wonder if it's the same one.
It's Swoon.
Oh, Swoon, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's it, but anyway, so is that what like what the biggest setback was just trying to find a spot to put it?
No, it wasn't a setback, but it was a hurdle.
Hurdle, yeah.
So I would ask a lot of different places, and they'd go, no, like there was a building I went into, and it was a music building, but they did, they were a saxophone repair place, So I went, okay, bye. And then I went to I don't know if I should mention the name.
Yeah,
I
you
went
don't
to
have to.
I went to another building that's actually a club on Roosevelt, and it is also painted purple. And I went in there and I said, I would like to paint Prince on the building. I want to do a Prince tribute. And the guy said, that drug addict?
Are you kidding me?
No. That
Damn.
drug addict. I said,
Yeah.
bye.
I used to live
Yeah.
on Roosevelt, so I think I know the
Yeah,
building you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, yeah.
That's good.
So you
Right.
just went in, and once you found the spot, and you just asked, and
I talked to the guy that's in there. He's a tenant. He doesn't own the building. So I went and talked to him. It's a print shop
Wow.
in the Prince building. So he loved the idea. And he said, I'm going to talk to the owner about it. So he talked to the owner about it. The owner was so jazzed for it. He was like, yeah, let's do that. And as it turned out, people have been approaching that guy for a long time about painting something on that building, that very building. And he would say, no. And so when I came down and said, I want to paint Prince, this is the other things I've done, he said, yes.
that's
Wow.
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he's way into it. He loves it.
That's cool.
So-
That's very
Yeah,
cool.
He's a cool guy.
He had to have that be the first thing that's painted on there. He was waiting for something
That's
that
what I
was
was saying,
good.
like,
That's exactly what
Yeah.
it was.
And
Yeah.
it, like I said, it's turned into like an iconic spot where everyone's just going to take
I love it.
pictures and check it out. It's amazing.
I
love
love the
it.
idea with the shades and the
Yeah.
big mirrors. Like, that is so cool. That's one of the
Genius.
coolest. Yeah, absolutely genius.
Well, when I first got the idea to do a Prince mural, there's so many images of Prince, so many different styles, so many different looks. And the one that just pops out in my head is him with those shades.
Yeah.
They're just so inscrutable looking. So I thought, well, I got to stick it in there. He's got those smoldering eyes, so you got to do one of that, you know. So that's when I decided to have multiple
Yeah.
images, but I had to have that in there with the shades, and I decided right away they're going to be real mirrors. And what was motivating me was I got to do this fast because somebody else is going to do it. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to
That's
do it.
crazy how that thought, you just want to get it out there because you don't want
I know. I know. Somebody might have already done it, but
Yeah.
still, I was like, oh, I got to do this.
So when before you start the mural, do you sketch it out like what pictures you want where? Because I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you how you decided which pictures to use. Even
Well-
I mean, that must have been hard.
Well, it's called spending many hours into the night on my computer looking at pictures of Prince.
Yeah.
I mean, one after another until you go blind, you know? And you find the ones that I liked and might not have the bottom of the torso. So I find a torso that I like, and I find legs that I like, and I
Oh wow!
you know, and I put that all together, and I find a face that I like because he might have had his head turned, but I like the rest of it, you know.
Yeah.
So I find another head and I patch it in there,
That's so creative.
you know, so that I get just the right image.
That's
you know,
awesome.
so that's what I did, except for the one with the shades. He was that's the head, and the other one, the other head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you went in there and he said yes, from when he said yes to completion, what kind of other hurdles did you come across?
Well, traffic lights, street lights, and traffic.
Why is that?
Well, I did it billboard style.
Remember, it's on the side if you need to go up or down.
Okay.
Yeah, relax.
you-
Yeah,
yeah,
make yourself
make-
comfy.
That's a
Yeah.
very cryptic.
Make
Whatever.
yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. When painting billboards, what you did was if you worked in a shop, all you had to do was turn out the lights. But before we had a shop, we worked outside, so we had to go down at night with a projector, you know, and put this photograph
Oh, yeah.
in the projector and sketch it all in to scale, you know, and then come back the next day and start painting it. So obviously there's no shop around that building, so I had to come down at night and put my pictures in the projector, and that was the biggest hurdle. Projecting is always logistically crazy, you know. As soon as you get that going, then it's all downhill from there. But that was just crazy.
How long did that take?
It took 2 nights, but I had to come down several times, plug the projector in, find somebody to give me power. And luckily, Beatrice Moore, who owns that corner right there and is an artist herself and owns a couple of galleries, she was more than generous to let me plug into her place. And then shine the picture on the building.
Yeah.
And then I had the whole picture up there and went, okay, I can't see it. So, step 2, I got to separate out every image and make them really big and do them one at a time so I can see them. And then hurdle number 2 was that street light that was over my head because it was so bright that the image
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't see it.
was really hard to see. If I was across the street, I could see it. And then what I do is I just run. Run across the street,
shit.
climb up on my ladder, and go, there's the line. And it was so rough when I sketched it in because of that brightness. It was so hard to get. It was like a landmark here and a landmark there, and like the face was just a dot slash type of thing.
You're just basically setting up everything where you want it.
Proportions and getting things where they go.
Yeah.
And then the next several days were literally copying the faces on there from the picture.
How long did the whole thing take?
2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. I started.
And how much time were you spending on it each day?
Oh man. Well, at the beginning, I projected it was like end of April. So I had that whole month of May, which was kind of a nice May. You remember that?
Yes.
It was cool.
We got so lucky with how cool it
that
stayed.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was given, I didn't have to start taking, usually it's too hot to take a dog walking in May. And you could go out during the day sometimes in May.
Yeah. So it was nice. So I was down there I try to get there as early as I can because the traffic is rush hour.
Yeah.
And the scaffold that was another hurdle I forgot to mention.
Yeah, I saw pictures of that. Yeah.
Scaffolding.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people bugging you to see what you're doing.
Not really.
No?
They could see because it was, once I got it going, they could see what I was doing. But I borrowed a scaffold from my good friend Robert Gentili right across the street there in the Grand Art House. He was so generous, let me borrow that. He saved my life. So I had to keep it in the yard across the street from the mural. So I'd get down there as early as I could, and Beatrice gave me a key to that yard, and I would pull it out, and it was a 2-man job pushing that thing because it hit every little nook and cranny in the street.
Yep.
So I had to have somebody in the front, somebody in the back, pushing that thing across the street and getting it on the sidewalk, which was sloped.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That makes it even heavier.
So you get it up on the sidewalk, and all the wheels want to turn to the right because it was sloped, and it was a steering issue. So yeah, getting that all set up, and once I was climbed up there and had paint gone, I was good. But yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, I saw you're doing that six days a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
yeah, 6 days a week.
Physically demanding on your body. I mean, it has to be, right?
It was, and I'm not as young as I used to be, obviously. But you know what? It was really good exercise.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It was like, you know what? I've been meaning to get my ass out and a little exercising, and it really was good.
And when you're doing something you enjoy doing, it makes it a lot easier.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So after the 2 months and it's finally done, I mean, what was the feeling like after that?
Oh my God, I was like when the end was in sight, it was like, oh, the finish line, I can see it. This is great. Yeah. But by then it was up over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So I was going down in the morning and I was going home by noon. So I was feeling like, oh, this is taking forever. But just to get it finished was, man, it was just such a good feeling. And then I started to brainstorm. Things come to me at the last minute. I'm like, oh, wow, this is what I got to do. I got to have an unveiling because I was going to add those mirrors,
Yeah, make it that special.
And
oh, yeah.
Nobody knew. There was one guy that would stop by and he'd bring me water every now and then, and he had a little sign painting knowledge, so we'd chat, and he goes, I want to know what you're going to paint in those glasses. That's going to be cool. And I go, well, I'm not going to tell you. And then he'd come back, and give me some more water and go, looks good. Still want to know what you're going to paint in those glasses. Not going to tell you. Not going to tell you. He goes, boy, I bet it's going to be cool. So, yeah, then when people would stop by, I'd say, hey, come by Friday. I decided at the last minute to have it like that Friday because it was first Friday. You know, so we sent out, we like blasted out this email message. Come on Friday and for the unveiling, and this girl goes, "Oh, you mean when I'm not supposed to be looking at it?"
Oh yeah.
It was funny. And then one of the news stations came down and did a story of it.
Oh,
and,
that's cool.
And I said, yeah, I'm having an unveiling, so because there's gonna be a surprise. So I wanted to get people's interest.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a surprise. So, oh man, it was such a busy week. I went to SAS and I bought like 80 yards of this blue parachute fabric. I was really looking for purple, but they didn't have enough.
I'm surprised you didn't have somebody that could do that for you.
Yeah, no
Well,
shit.
you would think.
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of put I did put a feeler out there. Hey, I'm going to do this. Anybody got anybody like to sew and make a big, no bites. So, so I went and got this fabric, and I went to my friend's house that used to run Copper Star Repertory Company. It was a theater company I worked for. So we made the giant curtain that night. Just put it all together and put it in a box, brought it down there. And when we had the unveiling, the guy that wanted to know what I was going to paint in the glasses goes, "That's cheating."
It kind of is, but it made it's the best part about it, in my opinion.
No, I think.
It's great. The whole thing's great, but that thing just catches it right.
I love. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I love looking at it. It's like, oh, that's so. Look at all those cars going by in those glasses.
Oh,
It looks like it's alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it brings it to life. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives it some motion.
It's like interactive. You can see yourself.
Yeah.
That is cool.
In Prince's shades. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, it was already getting attention as you were finishing it, though, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. People would come by and talk to me and do little interviews and things like that.
So for people to know where it's at, it's on 15th Avenue
Roosevelt.
in Roosevelt, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then your other mural, which is 7th Street, just north of 7th Street in McDowell.
Mm-hmm. It's on right at the end of Granada Road.
Oh, Granada Road, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you find that spot? Did you have
This
to
is
ask?
my favorite one.
Yeah,
of the
this one's
two,
awesome
yeah.
too. So if anyone hasn't seen it, it's how many different David Bowies is there?
8.
Probably 8
Yeah.
of just different eras of his career.
Yeah.
And
I guess they were obviously this are the ones that appealed to me the most.
yeah, for sure. They are fucking amazing.
It's
Thanks.
absolutely amazing. Yeah.
The Labyrinth one is just incredible.
That's funny because
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna put that on there because it was a movie role. It
Yeah.
wasn't him. I just wanted to do him in his concert styles. And that was he was playing a part in a movie that
You
was
had to do that. You had to.
people that would come by and look at what I was doing would say, "Are you gonna put Labyrinth up there? Are you gonna do Jareth?" And I'm like, I guess I should. You know. So I kind of like.
That was a big thing in me and my brother's childhood. We watched.
I guess.
That movie was like the movie, like the 1 or 3 movies that like a couple places that we would go had. So it was always like one of the ones that was playing.
Our babysitter used to always remember Karen. She used to make us watch.
Yeah. So.
Well, that shows my age, because that was not a movie of my childhood.
Did you do all those set like one after the other or throughout time? Yeah.
Yeah. If I did them, like I would do one, a couple days later come back and do another one. I had another job at the time. I had a second job, so I was
it's a little harder to do this one.
Yeah, I was working on weekends and things like that. And I would get called into work while I was working. Like, no, you don't need me today, do you? It's Saturday. That kind of thing.
Yeah. That's cool. So I saw that or I read that you ran away with the circus for 6 years. Is it cool to talk about that?
Sure.
So
that is freaking awesome.
But what
what else do you need to do with your life? That's
It also that's all it said was that you ran off for the circus for 6 years. You met your husband, which is awesome through that. But it didn't say anything else. But fuck, I would love to know what the circus life is like. That's amazing.
It's unbelievable. It's really it's a whole other world.
It's like stepping on Mars.
It's you have this family. You have this family that you live with and you travel with for, it's usually like a 9-month season, March to October kind of thing. And I was asked to paint their trucks because I'd painted, buses and stuff like that. So they asked me if I'd paint their trucks. So I did.
So like the circus came to town here in Phoenix and they asked you to do this?
They were actually based in Queen Creek.
Oh.
They had their winter quarters in Queen Creek.
Shit. Whose computer is that?
Yours.
Just kidding.
Asshole.
I know.
Turn down your phones, everybody.
Sorry.
That's okay. So I painted the trucks, and then about 2 years later is when they had a couple of wrecks, and they had to replace these trucks and with new ones, and they wanted them to match the other ones. So I got a call to paint these new trucks. So I went down there with every intention of saying, you know what, I can't do this job because I'm exhausted. I just did this other big job, and you know, I'm sorry. And the guy was so excited to see me. He comes running up to me. They were already touring, and they were playing a park right in Phoenix. He had a brown paper bag full of $1 bills, and he just like dumped it out on the ground. He goes, "Here you go, $150, get you started." And he was so excited. It was like cotton candy money, you know. So I didn't have the heart to tell him I didn't want to do this job. So I said, okay. So I packed up my truck, and I got my dog, and I followed this circus around and painted these trucks. It rained for the whole first 2 weeks, and I couldn't do anything but sit around and twiddle my thumbs and hang out inside the tent, you know. So then here's this guy on the show who was not on the show before. And I thought, well, who's this new guy, and what is he doing on this show? It was a small little rinky-dink show. And he was doing an aerial act and a balancing act, and it turns out that he was supposed to be hired to do a show in one in New Zealand, and then another show in Australia that he wanted to be on, and they both crapped out on him. So he took this job. It was like, well, this is my last resort. I'm going to do this one in Arizona.
Money, yeah.
In Arizona. So they show up on this little, you know, they call them mud shows because they play, they play, you know, muddy lots. So that's how we met. You know, he just started talking to me, and I thought he was a really nice guy, and I didn't really want to get into a relationship because I was coming out of another one that was, you know, I was like, I don't want to deal with this.
It's funny how that works.
I'm just going to paint. Yeah. It's just going to be me and my dog painting, you know. But he invited me over for dinner. In the back of his truck, he had a camper on the top, wine, candles, you know, homemade ink plaid Parmesan. I was like, what? I'm in trouble. And then we're talking. He's really smart. You know, he's from New Jersey, and I'm from New Jersey.
I'm from New Jersey.
Oh my God! See. So yeah.
Synchronicity.
Yeah. The rest is history.
That's freaking cool.
It was, and then he put me in his act. He wanted an assistant, and that was like, I don't do that because I'm not Vanna White, you know.
Yeah.
But he did this chair balancing act, and the assistant that he had was a clown that was kind of running around on the ground, handing him the chairs and throwing the props. And I thought, you know, I could do that, but as a nasty librarian, I can do that. You know, I could wear a high collar and severe shoulders and glasses and be a bitch. And
that's cool. Like create a character
and do that because he was dressed as like a nerdy bookworm with glasses and suspenders, and all the props were books, or made to look. They were blocks that were painted like books. So I kind of channeled Lucille Ball, and I just kind of went for it. Just
That's cool.
Ran out there and went for it. It was really fun. Did it 6 years.
That's
what
cool.
was his balancing act? What did he do?
He stacked chairs up and like would do handstands off of them until he got up to the top, and then he'd do a back bend, and it was insane.
What the fuck? Can he still do this shit?
He does a handstand every day.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's kind of cool that he does that.
Yeah, and he did an aerial act. He was a gymnast at Dartmouth, so he already knew how to do like Roman rings. So he had a Roman rings act.
Those dudes are he's probably super
really
strong.
awesome.
Those guys are like the strongest dudes.
Yeah.
So was there like a bearded lady and shit? Like fucking,
and hanging out with the clowns was the coolest one.
Not on that show, but you know, when we had our son, there were times where we needed like a little 7-minute babysitter because the act is 7 minutes long, you know. So you kind of like have to have somebody sit there watching the
Like
little
a clown.
And it was a clown. And
Is he all freaked out by him now?
he was. Yeah, he goes, that was the scariest clown I ever saw, and I had to sit there with him. Yeah, those were the days.
So when they would travel, everyone just kind of has their camper and they just stay in
Everyone
that?
has a trailer or a camper.
So it's
or
kind of like
RV.
just constant camping.
Yeah,
That's
but when you
kinda cool.
get to where you go, there's somebody ahead of you that spots you. When you show up, they tell you where to go, where to park. And then somebody runs hoses and somebody runs electricity, and
it's all set
you know,
up.
yeah.
So you're saying while one circus is going, the next city is already kind of being.
Yeah, there's a guy that goes ahead.
That's cool.
And there's this thing called arrows. I don't know if you've ever noticed if you're driving on a freeway, and you see papers like pieces of paper, literally taped to street lights or posts or something like that, and there's arrows on them. There could be one arrow going straight up. And then there's either one going down and 2 going to the right, and then 3 going to the right. Those mean, the up arrows mean keep going. Down arrow and 2 to the right means slow down. You're going to make a right.
Oh, wow.
And then 3 arrows to the right mean this is your turn. Turn here. Those are circus arrows. That's how circuses
That's freaking cool.
tell everybody where to go.
That's
So-
freaking cool.
When you leave the lot, there's an arrow telling you at the lot which way to go, and then you just keep following the arrows till you get to where you're going. Now there's GPS, so
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
lost
know.
art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like billboard painters.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
had no. That's crazy. The arrows.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
You know what? We will occasionally see them. Go look.
I was gonna ask, like,
circus
I'm gonna look for
arrows.
'em now.
did you kind of keep an ear to the ground and what did it die out? Did most of it die out, or?
Well, no, there's still a lot of small traveling shows around. And one time we were just traveling from, we go back east to see my family, and he's got family back east too, in Vermont. So we were on vacation visiting the families, and driving down the road, and all of a sudden, there's arrows. So we're like, look, circus arrows. So we followed them, and it was a show that we knew. So it was really
wow.
cool.
Oh,
yeah.
that is cool.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
cool.
badass.
Yeah, it's fun.
Was there like a lot of good drugs on those circus tours? There have to have been.
Yeah, there probably were.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't partake, but yeah, the crew,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the crew, and the Cossacks. The Cossacks liked their vodka.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Russians.
So like, how long do you travel and then do you take a break? Or how long are you on the road and then you come home?
Well, there's like a March to October season.
Damn, that's long.
Yeah,
April, May, June, July, August.
and you go from place to place, and there'd be one place where you're just doing 1 day stand, it's called, and then you move to the next town, and you might do a 2-day stand. And what's really luxury if you're doing a 1 week stand, or like the Taste of Chicago, 3 weeks at one place. It's like,
It's gotta be nice to be at one location
Yeah.
for a long period.
Especially
Yeah.
in a cool place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if you go to a cool place, then you can actually go and do cool stuff if you're there long enough.
yep.
Would you get days off, and get to go do stuff?
Well, you had shows at night, like 2 shows at night, so you had the whole day. If you were already set up, you had like the day off to go, would do whatever, and then just show back up an hour.
Oh,
Like a couple hours before
yeah.
showtime.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Can you bring the mic a little bit closer?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's just.
Do they have animals and stuff?
They did. They had an elephant, and they had horses, and there was a little pony act and a dog act, and I can't remember what else. But these days it's hard to have exotic
Animals.
animals on shows
Yeah.
now.
A dog and pony act. That's
Yeah.
where it comes from.
Yeah.
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 That's
Yep.
funny.
There's always protesters.
So when I go onto your Instagram, is all of that art yours on there?
Mm-hmm.
You are pretty damn eclectic. I got to tell you, the
Oh, yeah.
stuff that's on there. There's a lot of cool, different styles, different stuff.
Yeah.
You do some really cool stuff, and
Thanks.
I was on your Instagram for sitting there just going and going.
Wow.
And going. So
Do I have that much on there?
You have a lot of cool
Well,
stuff.
can we find you on
there.
Instagram? Can you say your Instagram really quick?
At Maggie Keane's Art, ZART.
Cool. Yeah, I highly suggest checking it out.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
So I saw a bunch of sketch drawings. And it was funny because when I was checking them out, I saw Jodi Arias, and we just had Kurt Nurmi on, her lead defense attorney, and so when I asked you about that, you said you weren't doing it for the court, you just went in to.
Well, that was going on, and I think I was doing other trials were going on in federal court because federal court does not allow cameras. So I'd get done with what I was doing, and the assignment guy that I was working with would say, you should go sketch Jodi Arias. And I said, what for? There's cameras all over that thing. He goes, just go do it,
Yeah.
What he was driving at was, Nancy Grace is down there. She might want a souvenir,
Yeah.
But I went 2 days and never saw Nancy Grace. But I got in and I did some sketches, and I got a lot of interest, like, oh, look, sketches. But I did them for myself to have. And one of these days, if I ever get, organized enough to do a court sketch show, I'm gonna put those in there. But I really want to do a court sketch show.
Those drawings are awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they're amazing.
I really need to do a court sketch show.
So okay.
And a book.
I was confused because originally I thought you worked for the courts, which you do, but then you said
No, you work for media.
Or the media.
Because
they don't allow, obviously, the cameras in
They
there.
need the picture. The TV stations, the reporters that are doing the stories.
So you're in there as a media person.
The reporters need the visual to go with their story.
Yeah.
So that's who hires me.
Do you have time constraints to
Man.
how is it stressful, like trying to draw a picture
It's
that fast?
ASAP. Yeah. Sometimes there be.
So obviously there's constant movement. You just have to find a still moment in time and say, okay, I'm going to draw this. I guess.
If it's an arraignment, somebody walks in, they get spoken to for about a minute, and then they walk out. And during that time, I'm like, okay, drawing as fast as I can.
Holy shit!
And a lot of it is memory.
Yeah.
And a really good example of that was Jared Loeffner. Remember that dude?
Jared Loeffner. That was the
Jamie.
What was that? I know the name.
The guy that shot Gabby Giffords?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That crazy dude.
Yeah. I was sketching him. First of all, the first day I ever saw the guy, when I was sitting there ready, and they were about to bring him in, and he came walking in. Usually I'm like ready to go, right? He came in and I froze. I mean, that was
a scary looking dude.
First time I ever, because I've seen criminals before in court, but this guy was.
He had the black eye, right?
Yeah, but the look on his face.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell right away.
He's nuts.
He's not with us. He's sick.
Yeah, I remember his pictures.
That must have affected your drawing that came out, just that emotion, right? Right after it? I mean, was that picture any different than the other ones? In a way?
It was almost like, I got to compose myself and get this guy's likeness. He had an odd face.
All of his mugshots, he has a smirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you.
When he was in court, he was always smirking. He was always smiling, looking around, rocking back and forth, laughing to himself.
That's creepy.
He was.
That's fucking
creepy.
He was.
But then there was one day when all of a sudden he was rocking back and forth in his chair, and then all of a sudden he put his head down on the desk, and people just started looking at each other, like, what's going on, and when you're sketching and something like that happens, it's like, oh, flip a next page and get that. Well, we don't know what this is. And then, like, just like that, he gets up and he just, like, makes a jump for the judge.
Oh, shit.
And he's yelling and he's going, she should have died right there, or something like that. Or he thought he killed her. He's like, she died right there. And so the marshals get up and they grab him and they're pulling him right out. He's going, you're treasonous. And it was really funny because what came across on the court reporter was, your cheesiness. So they're like, what did he say? Well, they read back from the court reporter, your cheesiness. I'm like, no. He said, your treasonous. You know, when they pulled it. But
That's crazy, dude. That's scary as fuck.
I had to literally take a picture with my eyes because they pulled him out so fast. And I just had to remember what he looked like doing that. You know,
when they were pulling him out,
when he was lunging
towards them, yeah,
when he was yelling and you lunge, he's a wild-eyed guy, you know.
Yeah, that's so fucking crazy that you can do that and then draw that moment though.
And it's like you're sort of holding your breath because you got the memory and you're hoping it doesn't go away. You know, like when you have a dream and you're trying to remember it, and then all of a sudden it goes away.
Yeah,
that's how it is. So it's like draw. Okay, you know. The nose was doing this and the mouth was doing that. And just to get the likeness, it's like, that's all I ask for.
Plus, you're at the top of your game because you're doing the, like, there's certain things, like if a musician, if you want to be good, you do this. If you're, you know, this, if you want to be a good artist, you got to find something where you practice your skill every day and you sharpen your sword every day. Mm-hmm. And you're doing that on the ultimate level where you got to be quick.
That's got to be the best practice ever.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate sharpening of your sword right there.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time, like I worked at Great Adventure doing sketches of people. That I worked for this company that hired a bunch of us to sit there with easels, and people would come and pay money, and you had to keep it under 10 minutes, you know. So that was good practice. Plus, you know, when I was a teenager sitting around the house bored, I'd go to my dad was in a band. He was a drummer. So it was like a symphonic band. And I'd go to practices with him and just sit and sketch everybody, you know,
That's cool.
The horn section and the flutes and my dad in the back and the conductor and stuff like that. I would just sit there and draw everybody, and that gave me practice of like putting things in front of other things and people in the foreground, stuff in the because you know, in the court you're drawing all the computer monitors and the pitchers of water and the cups of water and the boxes of tissues, you know, and the guys that are sitting in front of other people in the chair, like Joe Arpaio. When I was sketching Joe Arpaio, he would say, "Did you get a good sketch?" And I'd show it to him, and there was like an attorney here and another attorney there, and then him in the background. But he was there in the center, but he was further away. And he goes, "Well, who's that guy?" And I go, "Well, that's the guy that was in between me and you." He goes, "I don't want him there."
He's such an ass.
Oh, man.
He's such an ass.
Oh, man. He goes, "Boy, you're probably getting rich off of me. You owe me money. You should pay me. You should pay me for the privilege of drawing me." He would say that.
He's an ass.
He said that?
Yes,
Dude,
he said that more than once.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You could tell in those pictures he's hating life.
Oh,
That's what I could get. That's what I love about the drawing is you could just tell because he's just sitting there like.
Well, the first thing he ever said to me was, "Why do you always make me look like the devil?"
That's him looking at himself.
Yeah, like,
That's him looking at himself.
That's so awesome that your art is creating that reaction in Arpaio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was kind of a surreal time.
Yeah, like what is it like doing that job? Was it I mean, is it stressful? Is it interesting? Was it fun?
It was really interesting, and it was fun, you know, because it was a day-to-day, you know, job. It was not a quick thing. It was like, oh, good, this is a little bit of job security here because they want these pictures, you know. So it's more than one day, more than 5 minutes of drawing. It's every day, and whenever he's on the stand. And there was always a really good crowd of people there, you know. On one side, there were his supporters. On the other side, right behind us, was all the you know, the activists and the protesters and those people.
Yeah, that's got to be.
They were a lot of fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have does the media have a lot of control over your way of representing this, or do they ask you like, I need this?
Yeah, they would say, I need this person and I need that person, and they'll tell me when they're going to go downstairs and start, you know, their story. And by the noon they need a clip. So by 10 o'clock or by the morning break, I'd have something ready and I'd take it down to them and they'd shoot it, and then I'd go back up and draw some more, that kind of thing.
How do they shoot it? They just put it up and then put a camera over it. And just that's badass.
They set it up It's clipped to a board, and they set it up, and they just get the, and they have all different
And
kinds
then
of.
as their narrator's telling the story, it's showing the images that you've created.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
fun. It was fun.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I had a fucking question. I just fucking forgot.
I had something to say too.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
About Arpaio, and I can't remember what it was.
Oh.
It was.
How long were you dealing with him every day?
That was
That would suck. I mean, if it was something that like at least what
No,
you
but it'd
were
be fun
doing,
to see him in court.
yeah,
like,
you were able to like fuck with him and mess with him, kind of like so. But if you had to go and deal with that guy every day,
it was a 3-week trial, so it was always a lot of fun. I really liked the judge. The judge was on his game. He was like, no bullshit. He was really cool, and we started to call Arpaio the Incredible Shrinking Sheriff because he'd be at the beginning, he'd be in there all blustery.
Yep.
And then as the questioning got more and more
intense.
Because he was very evasive.
He thinks he's invincible, and that that was showing him you're not invincible, and he was realizing it. I think there's people that aren't on his side anymore.
Yeah, well, he knew how to skirt questions, and he knew how to like not answer and things like that. And then there would be times where the judge himself would turn to him and say, "I have some questions of my own." And then he would start asking questions about, did you send so-and-so to a restaurant to spy on my wife?
Whoa.
And these were
Everyone's all, what?
these were questions that he could not answer without incriminating himself, so he was just like, he got really quiet and you couldn't hear his voice. And then he started to sink down, and every day
did the courtroom like laugh? I would have laughed my ass off.
You are not allowed to laugh.
That had to be so hard.
But there was a whole lot of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But every day after that, he would be lower and lower, and I would draw that. Today I can see his face. And he had a bad day in court. Now I can see him behind the computer monitor he was hiding behind, and he just got lower and lower and lower.
That's funny. When you would give these photos to the media, was it one channel or was it like all the medias?
It was all of them.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Back in the day, every station had their own court sketch artist, and then, that all changed. And so if whoever's there drawing, they'll go, oh, how much do you charge? And blah, blah, blah. Let me check with my producer. Okay, can we shoot your sketches? Yeah, so then there became the era of sharing, which is good, because you don't really get paid a whole lot. But
that's surprising. You think that you would be able to call your shots a little bit more.
Well, you do,
yeah.
And it's a big TV. Big TV stations have money to throw at anything they need, but the court sketch artists are like, really? We'll do without it, We'll do without the sketch. So it's like you have to be affordable,
Yeah.
or at least desirable.
Do you still do it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you still do it?
Oh yeah. Whenever
cool.
they call me. Yeah, whenever they call me. And people have, like I've been saying, people have been behaving themselves lately. So there hasn't been anything going on in court. Yeah.
You do like a lot of the major cases, bigger cases? Well, those are the ones on the media, I guess.
That's the ones they want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last one I did, it was only about a month or so ago, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It'll come. It'll come to me. It'll come to me.
So where can other people find like your work and in art and stuff? Do you have exhibits or galleries?
I have a painting up right now at the Hive Gallery, 2222 North 16th Street. I live in the neighborhood of Coronado, and that gallery is right in the Coronado neighborhood. And just last Friday, we had the Coronado Art Show. There's a lot of artists in Coronado neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
So every year, they have a Coronado Art Show. So I have a piece in that, and it's really funny because I've always had something in that show, But about 5 years ago, I started a series of paintings. I did the one, like the first one, and then I got the second one ready to go. And the first one I did for the Keane-Artist show, and I brought it down for them to hang and left it there for them. And they show you, just put it against the wall, you know, where they're going to hang it, whatever. And somebody picked it up and walked out with it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That
So-
sucks.
They had insurance, so that was a good thing. But they since then they've put in security cameras. So
Yeah, you would think they would have had them before. No offense, but
well, yeah, but yeah, now they do. But it sort of took the wind out of my sails about doing that series. I was like, oh my God, because it was like losing a friend,
yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
you know. So just last, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Keane-Artist show and, you know, do I have a piece for it? And I just went out into my shop and I saw that second one sitting there already sketched out, ready to go. So I just did it. And it's a good feeling. It's like, okay, I'm back. I'm back on the track of this series. But do I want to do the first one over again, you know?
Yeah.
I would figure out a cool way not to do it. Like make it be some reason for something, because
Well-
I think that's cool to add to the story, because it changes how you're gonna feel about the next ones.
Yeah.
True.
I have a print of it. I actually made little milk cartons with a picture.
Oh, that's cool.
With a picture of a painting on it. Have you seen me?
That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
You know, and I took them out to, you know, Circle K's and galleries and stuff like that.
That's
I
cool.
still have not found that painting.
That sucks.
Yeah. But anyway, I have the second one up there, and I just took a painting to the state fair and entered it in their juried show.
Oh, cool.
So,
Do you
Oh, yeah,
have
that's coming up.
yeah.
Do you have any? Is there any like collectives or anything that you work with on a regular basis, or that you do things with?
Collectives?
Like, I mean, is there a group or other places that you know that?
You know, there's Phoenix Murals, and there's mural groups, and they'll get a group of muralists together at certain times of the year and paint murals in a certain location and advertise for it and things like that. Phoenix Mural Project.
So I have a question about the mural. So what is it like with the city and sometimes, because wasn't the David Bowie stuff like on a back of a fence? Do you have to worry about like painting on stuff like that city owned, or was that city owned? How does that work?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. That wall was built by the owner of the house on the other side of it, and he was a friend of mine. He's my neighbor. I live right on that street, and just exactly a block south of the David Bowie wall, there's another mural of a bunch of kids in school situations. That property used to be owned by the Khalsa school, and they asked me to paint that mural for their school. So it was private property and they owned it. So the owner of that house came and asked me, since he already saw me do that mural, he said, I just put a nice new block wall up and I want to keep it from being tagged.
That's
badass.
great idea. Can
you paint something on it? And I said, well, sure, but I can't do it right now, but yeah. And that's the wall that I was thinking, what am I going to do on it, When the time came where I was free to paint it and I didn't know what to put on there, then David Bowie died, and I called him up. I said, I'm going to put David Bowie on your wall. Is that okay? He said, sure.
Are you a huge David Bowie fan?
Hey, it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, were you?
Oh, was I?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, being in these groups, what other murals in downtown and Roosevelt Road that you enjoy and look up to and like?
Oh man, I see so many big ones go up, and I go, man, I want to do that. They're really, I want to lift. Back in the old days of billboard painting, I got to drive a lift around, and those, it's like luxury. Just push a button and you're at the top and that kind of thing. Yeah, I want to do something tall with a lift. There's a lot of them out there that are just amazing.
Yeah, Roosevelt is filled with a bunch of really good,
Yeah.
like little alleyways with just tagged up with just different kinds of murals.
It
and
makes
art.
everything so much better to see that stuff like that.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
It helps so much. It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
People go on. There's a lady that does bicycle tours of murals. She takes people around on bikes, and they go to all the different murals.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
So I got a question. I seen on the Instagram feed. I seen this amazing, super hilarious costume of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. I get a. I just.
What's your question?
I'm asking about the Donald Trump costume.
Oh.
It is awesome.
Well, this is gonna be my fourth Halloween in a row that I'm Donald Trump.
She gets done up as Donald Trump, and it is so damn funny.
that's
She
awesome.
looks just like him.
It was kind of by accident. It was one day I woke up and went into the bathroom and looked on the mirror, and I had like the hair.
Just slept on it wrong? Or?
Yeah.
And it was orange.
And I just went, holy crap, I look just like Donald
You
Trump.
should look, Chris, if you can find it. Look at this.
I know.
Yeah. So then I decided, and it was
Thank you, Jamie.
right before the election. So I thought, okay, I'll do that for Halloween. That's pretty funny. So let's see what I look like when I put all the makeup on. Oh, that's pretty funny. So that year I was candidate Trump, you know?
Yeah.
And then after he won, air quotes,
Yeah.
the year after that, I was Donald Trump in jail stripes.
That one was the funniest one to me. That you went all out for that. That was crazy.
Well, then there was a couple of marches downtown, the women's march, and the there was one for gun control, and I would go to those dressed as him. It was great.
Damn.
It was great. It was like,
That's badass.
yeah. Well, you just lost it.
yeah, you
Oh,
lost.
come on, Jamie.
Oh.
Fired.
But last,
Just kidding.
yeah.
That's cool, man.
Damn, that's badass.
But last Halloween was Space Force. We had a space-themed Halloween party. So I was in, I was Trump from the neck up, but I was wearing Captain Kirk uniform, you know? Yeah, and my husband was evil Spock. It was great. So this year is dolls and puppets and toys. So I was really trying not to be Trump, but then I'm like, oh, have to be I'm Trump with ropes on my wrists, and my husband's Vladimir Putin, and he's gonna
Oh, that's great.
work the strings.
That's great.
The puppet master. Yeah.
Like getting creative on Halloween. Have you always been artistic? Like, did you know this
Yeah,
right when you were
yeah.
since you were a little kid?
Yeah.
Like right away?
Yeah.
How'd you get into it?
I just started drawing on things.
Yeah. Just knew right off, like just right
Yeah.
off the bat.
Yeah, I just started, scribbling and making pictures. So pretty soon they started looking like things, so I just kept at it. It was fun to do, and I got in trouble for it at school,
It's good that you stuck with it. A lot of people don't stick with it.
Oh, I can't imagine not sticking with it.
Yeah,
like
you
music.
can't imagine not being in your life.
It's like I have to do it. Yeah. There was a time where I had a job that it was like a real job, and didn't have time to paint, and my life was just there was something missing. Something really big was missing, and then I'd start painting. And I had a friend of mine. I go, look, I want you to call me up and tell me to paint, because when you stop, it's easy to get
Sidetracked and
and or lazy.
or lazy. Yeah.
And but then getting back into it is like you forgot how much fun it was and how good it is.
And therapeutic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's cathartic. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very. It's a perfect medium to get your mind right.
Yeah. Messes up my hands. I mean, my hands they're a mess, but I don't care.
It's the tools of the trade.
Yeah.
It's like meditation. That's all you're thinking about when because I play guitar, and I'm sure Keith could say the same thing. And when you're playing or when you're doing your art, it's like meditation. You're not thinking about anything else but what you're doing right there.
Yeah. And I used to think, oh man, I hope nothing ever happens to my right hand. I'd be bummed. And now I have arthritis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Things are hurting.
CBD.
Yeah. Do you take CBD oils or anything for
I
that?
don't. I should.
You should look into
I
it.
should look into it.
We take this stuff called Rick Simpson oil.
Really?
It's like a CBD, little bit of THC, but what?
A little bit.
It'll fuck you up for like the first 2 days, but then you build a tolerance. No, but it has major healing factors for
I need to do that.
arthritis, anxiety, just all kinds of things.
I wonder what my paintings will look like after that.
Ooh.
But what?
I wonder what my paintings will look like.
Better.
Subject matter might change. Let's see. I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
Well, a great example of that is look at Kevin Smith. He didn't start.
Keith.
That's amazing.
Lord Phobos.
Kevin Smith didn't start
Do you know who that
smoking
is?
weed. No.
What is that from?
It's a band called Tupperware Remix Party.
Let me see that again, Jimmy.
Twerp for short. That's the guitar player. His name is Lord Phobos. They play in those costumes. Do you have the whole picture?
That's cool.
That's all I can get.
Oh,
That's cool.
I have the whole picture. Have you been up Oak Street Alley and looked at those murals?
No. That's why we're loving to hear
I
where
feel like
more
I've
of these
seen.
are.
I don't know.
What about you? Have you seen
Where's
them,
Oak Street?
Ryan?
Oak Street is between Virginia and McDowell.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't think
I want to
have.
say.
Maybe I haven't.
And are these guys local?
No, they're from Toronto.
Oh, damn.
And they're like a funky electronic band my son got me into, and they collaborate with two other guys who are known as Ninja Sex Party. These guys are big with the gamers, and my son's a gamer, so this is how it all started. My favorite song is "Take on Me"
It's a good song.
by Aha.
Oh, yeah.
And I also
Great song.
I also love the video. And
Wasn't that like one of the first music videos?
1983, and my son goes, "Mom, look at these guys," and they were doing a cover of Aha, and I just kind of went, nobody can touch that song. But I watched this video, and they did it really well.
Nice.
And I'm going, who are these guys? So they were Ninja Sex Party, and Tupperware Remix Party is their backup band.
Oh, that's badass.
But when they tour, Tupperware Remix Party opens. They're their own band, and they do their own stuff. And then second half of the show, the other two guys come out, and they become the backup band for Ninja Sex Party.
Oh, wow.
And they do albums together. And they were number one on the Billboard comedy album for a long time. So anyway,
Like Wheeler Walker.
Yeah, no shit.
I just thought they were hilarious, fun to look at, and fun to paint. I've seen them in concert several times now, and so I painted them on a mural.
That's awesome.
You
And-
can find this
and-
on her Instagram, guys. That's where I pulled it up from.
Yeah, in Oak Street Alley. And so I sent them a picture of it to their Facebook page. Oh, actually, I drove my son and a bunch of his friends out to LA to see them at the Wiltern Theater. And they had a Q&A before the show starts. If you got the expensive tickets, you got this Q&A.
Uh-huh.
So my son is like, he goes, she painted a mural of you in Phoenix. So they're like, oh, wow, really? Send it to our Facebook page or our email. So I emailed it to them, and then they spread it around, and
That's cool.
That's
And-
badass.
and
That's
I
awesome.
and I invited them to come to the mural when they came. I said, put a Phoenix on your radar
Sure, yeah.
next time you tour, and they did. So I got them to come to the mural, and I took some, we had a little photo session down there. It was hotter than hell. And
That's freaking awesome.
and they're in these costumes, because they
Oh, shit.
they always perform in these costumes, and they're always seen, and they're never seen without their costume.
Have you seen him out of their costume?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be funny if you said no. I was hoping you'd say no.
But they're never like photographed and tagged without their costume
Yeah.
or shown whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's a bunch of dorky dudes, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So in fact, they're going to be at the Valley Bar this Friday.
Really? I love the Valley Bar. No
Oh.
way.
Yeah.
I love the Valley Bar.
Yeah.
That place is badass.
That's
Should go check them out.
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
The 26th. That's this Friday, right?
Can you introduce me to him without the mask?
And
Yeah.
and then you can bribe them
Well-
later.
Well, I usually see them they come out after they're done when the crowd's left. If you hang around, they'll come out and start tearing down.
That's cool.
So that's when people come up and they give them fan art and things like that and chat with them. They're really nice guys.
Will they be there with Tupperware Remix Party?
They are Tupperware Remix Party.
Oh, I thought they were.
No.
No, Ninja Sex Party. If they were going to be with Ninja Sex Party, they wouldn't be at the Valley Bar. They would be at the Marquee or some arena. And the tickets would be really expensive.
That's cool that they go out on their own.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Have you've been to the Valley Bar, right?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, that place is cool.
Right
Yeah,
on.
I can't wait to have tickets.
Thanks for her son showing being a cool kid and showing her his mom.
Yeah, we love
cool
hearing about new
music.
bands and new
man.
music, so I appreciate you telling us that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I have all these. I go to these things and I'm like the oldest person there,
Yeah, but it sounds like you were in some
You're like
into
the
some
cool
cool
mom.
music. I mean,
Yeah.
the Prince, David Bowie, Aha and Take on Me. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
Were you into The Cure?
Yeah.
We're big Cure fans here.
Really?
Yeah, Smiths, Cure.
Okay.
I'm a big Smiths Cure fan.
Okay.
Some of those Depeche Mode.
Uh-huh.
Huge Depeche Mode fan.
Cool.
New Wave.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was back in the day.
Do you have any murals coming up that you have planned or any ideas?
Well, I just did a mural and it was a private mural in someone's backyard of the Greetings from Phoenix, Arizona postcard. You know those postcards?
that's
like
cool.
the Greetings from Asbury Park postcard where there's pictures in the letters.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for them. They wanted that on the side of their garage. It looks into their backyard. So
So people can contact you to get work done, private work done.
they can send me a message on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, or Instagram. That's how I get a lot of messages.
That's cool.
Unfortunately, I don't have a website because I'm too busy to sit down and put one of those things
Yeah.
together.
You don't need a website these
You
days.
need to have somebody do it for you.
I do.
We got
You don't need
listeners
one.
out there that can help out, maybe.
Yeah, I need a website. But it's going to be October in the next couple of days, and
Oh yeah.
my Halloween party is taking over. It's taking center stage right now. I'm building and painting, and
Throw a big Halloween party.
every year I have a big one. Yeah,
That's cool.
And there's props. I build props. I paint all kinds of stuff. Last year was space themed, and so I got I ordered a David Bowie life mask. Have you seen those?
No.
Yeah, so I got a David Bowie life mask, and I painted it to look like Man who Fell to Earth.
Yeah.
The alien.
Uh-huh.
And
I saw that. That was wicked.
yeah, and I have these two kid mannequins, and I have like torsos and things that I'd make adult size figures out of, and so I made the whole Man who Fell to Earth family.
Yeah, that was badass.
That was cool.
That was so wicked.
Yeah.
The way that his eyes looked were
Yeah,
just wicked.
yeah, because his eyes are closed on the
Yeah.
life mask, so I had to paint that on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's wicked. I didn't know that they
It's
do
like
that.
those old school death masks.
Can you
Yeah.
get that for anybody?
You can just go online and order. Just Google David Bowie.
Can you get
Life
it for
mask.
anybody though? Can you get life mask for anybody?
Oh, yeah. Because most people that have been in a TV show or a movie, they make a life mask of
Oh,
them
yeah,
for some
I
reason.
didn't think about
for
that.
Yeah.
makeup effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just Google life mask and see if it comes up. But
And probably with
somebody-
all the
I want him a
3D
clay
We should
mask.
wear each other's face, dude. We should do it. For our next time when it's me and you, we should wear each other's face, dude.
Where the fuck's my clay? And it goes, yeah, and you're wearing my face. Like, whoa, that's creepy. You could probably do that with that face swap app.
Yeah. Did you guys see that once? Did you see that face swap app? How
Yeah.
crazy that is?
Yeah.
That's scary.
That is pretty scary.
You won't be able to believe anything in the future when it comes
No.
to what's on TV or movies or anything like heartbreaking news or stuff like that.
Porn.
Yes, for sure.
Just be the same dudes fucking each other. Like it looks the same guy though.
It'll be Trump fucking Trump.
Yeah. Loving it.
Well, he already does that.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not gonna believe anything. How much time we got, little Mac?
We are at I think, an hour.
Sweet.
Let's see. Hold on. Wait till
Did
it
you
comes
say
up.
where the Coronado or when the Coronado Art Festival is?
It's an art show in
Art show, I mean?
in the Hive Gallery. It opened a Friday night and it goes for the next month. So
Oh, right now?
yeah, it's
Oh,
up.
cool.
It's up right now.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
you
gotta
can
go check that out
you
too.
can go to the Hive and check out all the art.
We're at 104, Keith.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, do you have any? You don't have any. So we have to wait for another musician to die for. Mural?
I know. I
Or
know.
do you have any other ones coming
I
up?
hate,
or-
I hate to be the painter of dead musicians. It's terrible.
No, I think it's
I got
great.
commissioned to do Tom Petty too,
Oh.
so I did a huge Tom Petty painting for someone. Yeah,
That one was. They were all
Just a
three of
personal
them were
one?
Really
it's
sad.
a personal one. Yeah.
But the Prince and the Tom Petty ones are really sad.
You know who I want to do though, and thankfully she's still alive. I want to do a giant Debbie Harry somewhere.
That'd be
love
cool.
I love her face.
That'd be cool.
I've done a lot of Debbie Harry portraits just to do her face because it's so
I'm
beautiful.
sure there's a business on Roosevelt that would love a Debbie
Yeah.
Harry mural on
Hit
the
me
side
up.
of their.
I
their
want to do Debbie
building.
Harry.
I'm sure there is.
She's coming to town October 5th.
That's another reason to start it soon.
Yeah, Changing Hands Bookstores having
Maybe
a-
like a Guy Fieri mural.
big maybe.
Not people you want to die, Keith. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. Shit.
Oh man,
Anyway,
There's so many possibilities. Amy Winehouse. I want to do
that
an
would
Amy.
be
That'd be
awesome.
cool.
I want to do an Amy Winehouse. I miss her.
Susie
I
Sue.
know.
It'd be cool to
Yeah.
do Susie.
Have you seen her
Sue.
documentary?
No.
There's an amazing documentary.
Sad.
on- It's actually really
Oh, yeah.
fucking sad
Yeah.
because
It
it
would
talks
have to
about
be.
how well it gets really deep about how just her father just pretty much took advantage of her
Oh,
just an
that's
entire career
awful.
and pimped her out, and even with the drugs, it's really sad, but it's a really good watch because it shows a lot of behind the scenes of her, just creating and making
Yeah,
music and
yeah.
just seeing her just being just deep into her art,
She was really something.
I don't know if it's.
Yeah.
Can you
You
see
know.
if it's on Netflix?
it's on
It
Netflix.
is on Netflix.
It's called Amy. Just
Yeah, Amy.
A-M-Y.
It's
Mm.
fucking badass.
Okay.
Definitely.
Sad.
Yeah, it's
I'll
sad.
have to look that up.
Did you know that she was in a relationship with Nas?
Really?
Yeah, right before she died.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Damn.
it's crazy, right?
Hmm.
Stupid McClay facts.
No, that's cool. Anyway,
McClay facts.
right on. So, yeah, do you have anything else you want to promote or?
Where can they find you? Like the IG is probably the best place to find you.
Facebook, Maggie
Okay.
Keane, and Instagram, Maggie Keane's Art, ZART, and Twitter's the same thing at Maggie Keane's Art. Check out the show at the Hive. Go to the State Fair. Check out the painting I have in there. Another idea for another mural I want to do
Oh,
is that was me.
Fired.
Fired.
Just kidding.
Look, getting back to Aha, that video.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be a great one.
I wanted a block wall, section by section by section of scenes from that video.
Yeah, that would be.
You know?
Isn't that the
awesome.
very first music video or no?
That's one. No,
No,
one of the very
no,
first
that
ones
was-
that got big.
That was the Buggles.
Yeah.
Video killed the radio
Oh yeah,
star.
Video Killed the Radio
That
Star.
was the
You're right.
Buggles.
Yeah, right.
No, that was it just seems like the first because it
Yeah.
was so
So-
damn good.
Yeah,
That was, yeah.
it was like what started the whole cool video,
Yeah.
like miniature movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that the cartoon? That's not the cartoon.
Yeah, that's the cartoon one.
The,
yeah.
With the giant white hand that comes out of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome. You have to just find the right spot.
Yeah.
So anybody out there,
I know.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's
No-
even
another-
more of a reason to give her a call.
Another
Yeah.
band I love, you know? They're so-
Yeah.
once me and Jordan get a house, I'm definitely gonna hire you to paint something.
Oh,
I don't
cool.
know what. Maybe like Stephen Wright. Can you do a Stephen
Oh
Wright?
my God,
Do you know
Stephen
Stephen Wright?
Wright.
Do you know who he is?
Oh yeah.
I want a Stephen Wright mural in my new
Wow.
crib. That'd be badass.
That
That's
would
so
be
funny.
awesome.
So
Not exactly the most exciting image,
No.
you
Maybe
know,
not that
but he's so
image.
funny.
Yeah.
maybe not that image, but we'll
Well,
find
not.
one.
I mean, just him in general. He's just so.
like a whole wall.
He doesn't exactly light up. You know what I mean?
That's why it's awesome.
He'd do all his characters like from the dude from the couch.
Uh,
The dude from he was
No,
in
it'd be
that-
funny. It's just like a bunch of the same face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't change. You know what I mean? Like, he just stands different.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Wearing different clothes.
Yeah.
different color clothes.
Yeah.
oh, here's another deal. Here's another deal that's happening. It's coming up in November for Dia de los Muertos Festival in Scottsdale.
Oh hell
that-
yeah,
that they
that's
have.
cool. I love when that festival comes. All the
Okay,
cool
well,
art.
this will be the second year in a row that I've done a panel for them. Every year they send a bunch of artists these panels to paint. Like they started with skulls. There's a bunch of skulls that have been painted by different people. Then the God of Death, and they cut these things out for you, out of plywood, and they have a structure on the back that'll like plywood or not plywood,
2x4s,
2x4 braces on the back that keep them straight, and they bring them to you, and they'll send you pictures of this is the God of Death, and you can look him up yourself and just see what he's all about. And they just want your take on him.
That's so cool. That's kind of like what they did with the Darth Vader. Remember the Darth Vader things at Star Wars Celebration? Yeah. They did that with Darth Vader. That's cool.
So my take last year on the God of Death was...
I took a picture of every one of those.
It's a skull with eyeballs in him. Like it's a skull with the eyeballs in it, right?
Yeah.
And then he's got like spirit animals that are associated with him, like an owl, a bat, and spiders and stuff like that. So of course I'm thinking David Bowie. I wanted they did the two different eyes for the eyeballs, and I put a lightning bolt across the front of the skull, and he had the hair, and he had some spiders, spiders from Mars and that kind of thing.
That's
so
cool.
that was my God of Death panel for them, was David Bowie.
So they're doing it again here in a couple of months.
Well, this year they brought everybody a panel, another God of Death image, and a hummingbird. So we each painted a hummingbird and another God of Death panel, and that's what he was looking at before with the picture of Twerp. My God of Death panel is a Twerp totem. I was looking through all these images of the headdresses, those giant Aztec headdresses. They got like a leopard skin, on their head, and the
mouth.
Literally, your face is in the leopard's mouth.
Yeah, mouth, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that'd be fun to do. Well, a headdress like that with this leopard thing. So of course I'm like, hey, I could make it Twerp because the bass player's that lion, Commander Meouch. So then the drummer, his costume looks almost like a skull. I could put that there. So that's kind of what
cool.
That's kind of what I did. I did another Twerp homage. Here's my David Bowie God of Death.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's badass.
That's very cool.
Can you show that to that camera right there?
That is cool.
Oh yeah, that's badass.
And then let me find the...
How long does that something like that take to create?
Week. Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's coming up in November.
We'll have to
at
check
Scottsdale.
that out. That's badass. That's freaking cool.
This is my Twerp God of Death totem.
That's awesome.
Those colors are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you have that up on your Instagram?
Holy shit.
Not yet.
You need to put that up on your Instagram. That is amazing.
Wow. That's so badass.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
So yeah, when I see them next Friday, I'll say, hey, check this out. You can't see it, but well, you got to come back in November and go to
That's very cool.
Go to Scottsdale and see it.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Maybe I'll have it printed out on like poster size and give it to them. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I just want to say, we really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
Wow,
and
it's been fun. It's been great.
Talk about art. We're really trying to showcase just people doing badass, inspiring things here in Phoenix, and we all think everything that you're doing is totally inspiring. And
thank you so much, guys.
We really,
Yeah, it's putting an eye on Phoenix that is a real cool eye, because a lot of people are taking notes.
Oh,
so.
Great, thanks. Yeah, when I was a billboard painter, I used to go, look, that's what I painted, and the people were like, that. What is that? That's a billboard, Who cares?
Yeah, but like you said, or maybe I think I read it, that it was practice for murals.
It was great, great practice.
I mean, you might not have known that at the time, but
I did, and I really appreciated the opportunity to do that. And the boss I had was the greatest guy. I swear, he was like a second dad to me. He was awesome.
He let you just kind of go out there and do your thing.
Well, he hired me. He gave me a shot. It was like that was a really tight kind of controlled environment. Billboard painters were in unions, and you had to start as an apprentice, and you had to like work under people. But he left that environment and started his own contracting work. I was a subcon. He would hire me as a subcontractor because he looked at my stuff and said, "I think you can do this." And there was a lot of resentment, of I didn't follow the proper channels, or I was a girl, and there was only one.
Just made you work even harder.
Yeah, well, there was only one reason I got hired to be a billboard painter, and that was Ray Plouffe. He was the greatest guy, and he was an awesome painter. He was incredible. I wish he was still alive. I miss him. He was great. He was really great.
I'm sure growing up, I've seen plenty of your billboards. Didn't even know it.
Probably, yeah.
A lot of them for the
radio stations and TV stations and products.
Like all the I-10,
cars
on the I-10 and I-17 and stuff.
Yeah. And I used to hide things in the billboards. Like there was a
like wieners.
No. Family friendly.
Sorry.
There was a giant cruise ship I did.
Like Disney. That's what I was going with. The Little Mermaid. They had a winner. That's what. Sorry.
There was a cruise ship that I did for Alaska Cruises, and in the background of this boat was snow-capped mountains. And do you remember the cartoon Life in Hell?
I don't think so.
Okay, you know who Matt Groening is?
Yeah, Simpsons.
Before he did
the
Simpsons,
bunny. The bunny.
Oh, yeah.
Binky.
Yes.
And he had a son with one ear named Bongo.
Yeah.
I used to paint Binky and Bongo into the billboards. They'd be like a snow patch about 3 feet long, and you wouldn't be able to see it because it looked just like a sno patch unless you knew where to look.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like a little cool thing you could tell your friends. And
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I would hide I had to do 17 of the same girl's face. 17 separate billboards of this little girl's face. And just to break up the monotony, I would hide in a pupil of her eye. I would paint like a little black pug. This friend of mine had a little black pug, so I paint her in there, her face.
That's cool. Yeah, you got to make it fun again.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists do that, kind of put their own little things in art.
Well, if you have the time, you're like, okay, I'm gonna stick this right here.
Yeah.
A little secret.
I wanna do shout outs before we call it a day. Big shout outs again to Bird City Comics. Check out them for all your live comic auctions, and make sure you check them out. They're another Phoenix homegrown crew doing their thing. So check out Bird City Comics on Facebook, and check out Absolute Geek Podcast every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Arizona time, and check out CBSI Presents Tales from the Flip Side every Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Sweet. Well, I just want to say thanks again for coming out. You're welcome to come on anytime. If you have an event or you're just bored on a Sunday, you just want to talk about art, just call us and we'll get you on. I had a blast talking to you.
Cool, thank you. You guys are giving me such street cred. It's unbelievable.
Thanks to Little Mac for running sound, Don Rizze, camera, my bro Brian McClay was rocking his squirt shirt.
Check out Mike Martin and the AZ HD80 podcast. AZ ADHD podcast. I always mess that up, Mike. And check out Strong Heart Academy. And big shout out to him. Get your drawing skills up, son.
And if you haven't already, check out the Prince and David Bowie mural.
Yeah. Cool. And the tour and the Ninja Sex Party mural on on Oak Street.
Check out all the murals.
Yeah.
So that's a wrap on the Bogcast episode 46.
Awesome.
Bang!